Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Stream! Mit diesem symbolischen Soundauftakt geht's gleich in die State of the Game. Wir werden gleich ein bisschen State of the Game spielen, schauen und spielen soll ich schon, genau. Schauen. Einen Moment. So. Ist auch die Kamera richtig. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Stream. Ihr seht schon im Hintergrund die Musik, die wird dramatisch. Heute geht's um die Wurst. Wann ist Episode 3 draußen? Was haben die halt von letzter Woche zu dieser Woche denn gemacht? Und gibt es denn überhaupt ein Release-Datum heute? Was werden sie uns heute auftischen? Was gibt es so für... Ja, mal schauen. Ich würde mich sehr freuen, wenn wir heute das Release-Datum für nächste Woche kriegen. Ich würde endlich Episode 3 spielen. Wie geht's euch? Da. Gleich geht's los. Ja, was ich auf jeden Fall heute erwarte, sag ich gleich. So, meine Lieben, und herzlich willkommen. Also, ein bisschen Hintergrundmusik, bis es losgeht. Haben wir noch 5 Minuten 50. Ja, prinzipiell.
Hey, we are just under 6 minutes away from a. I'm quite excited about this state of the game. It's the first time we have not Matthias, but John.
Good guess though. It's
Yeah,
another sweet.
it's a conspiracy. No, it looks like my mic's coming through. Okay, who else do we have here? Can we sound off? Drew?
Yes.
I think you sound beautiful.
Thank you.
John, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
All right, you seem to be quite quiet.
Heute
but,
ist der
we'll bring you up a little bit.
Narrative Director John Björling da.
We'll adjust this as we get going. George is here. George is here, but he doesn't have a microphone, so I don't really. I'm not that excited.
Yeah, you can see George. Yeah.
So yeah, if you if you don't know what happened in the story of Division 1 and Division 2, we're going to kind of recap that whole thing today because there might be some people who haven't played through that, and I'm going to see what kind of behind-the-scenes info I can get from John and Drew, because there might be some things that we haven't talked about before. Some, like, I don't know, John, are there like some fun facts about these people that people might not have caught? Yeah, I'm getting a nod.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, we'll talk to you in 4.5 minutes, and we will see you soon. All right, bye.
So, also, er hat sich wieder abgemeldet. Also heute ist Priority Alerts dran. Was ist denn so Priorität, Meldungen? Interview with dem Narrative Director John Björling. Das ist der Links heute. Da gibt es mal Agent Highlights, was so... Und dann nochmal Division 2 New Photos. Also, aber was mich halt interessiert ist, was labern die heute? Machen die heute einfach nur so einen blöden Talk, den eigentlich keine Sau interessiert? Oder tun sie heute Infos streuen, wie es denn nun in Zukunft weitergeht? Also, was erwartet uns jetzt mit Episode 3 jetzt wirklich? Wann kriegen wir es? Kriegen wir denn auch zusätzlich noch ein Datum, wann denn jetzt auch dann...
So, I'm just going to use this opportunity, everyone. I know that people are asking in chat
TO7
about
kommt.
release date today. That won't happen. We still have the message that it is coming this month. So that's basically all we've got. If you were paying attention over the past few weeks, Yannick did kind of allude to the fact that it won't be the last week of the month.
Warning.
It's also
Your division
obviously
affiliation
this
has been
week.
disavowed. You are now marked
Process
as
of
rogue.
production leaves you with. Well, I mean, it could be this week, but it doesn't look likely, does it? And then, yeah, it's anyone's guess. Yeah, yeah. Drew was saying in the background, let's do some math. I mean, this is called the division. So.
Wenn die Musik zu laut ist, sagst du bitte Bescheid, Steve. Das wäre super.
No, I'm not doing that. All right, okay, we'll see you in just under 3 minutes. All right, bye.
Ja, also, so wie ich es jetzt gerade angehört habe, wird es wohl heute kein Release-Datum geben für Episode 3. Das fände ich sehr enttäuschend. Also, mittlerweile müssen wir doch mal... Ich weiß nicht, was Massive da macht. Aber es ist auf jeden Fall nicht gut. Also ich finde persönlich, Massive macht gerade wieder einen großen Fehler, wenn sie das jetzt nicht langsam mal rausrücken, das Datum. Denn alle wollen wissen, wann geht's denn nun nach New York? Und irgendwie fühle ich mich gerade wieder mal so ein bisschen verarscht. Wenn sie es heute nicht machen, kann ich meine, ich bin ja echt so, hey Leute, motiviert euch, spielen mit uns eine Runde, wir haben eine Community, lasst uns bitte zusammen was machen. Aber so langsam fehlt mir die Kraft, wenn ich nicht weiß, wo es hingeht, ja. Alter Falter, das ist doch nicht schön. Ich mach das hier echt gerne, aber wenn du hier 0 Infos bekommst, da frage ich mich, ob ich das überhaupt noch machen soll. Weil im Prinzip kriegst du hier nichts gesagt. Das geht mir dann schon so langsam auf die Ketten. Ich sag jetzt Ketten, so. Ich wollte was anderes sagen, aber ich habe es mir kurzzeitig anders überlegt. Ich meine, der Hamish-Bode kann ja nicht dafür. Im Prinzip ist der nur der Übermittler der blöden Nachrichten, die sich der Game Director und so weiter sich so vorgestellt haben, ja. Aber so mit langsam müsste man doch mal wissen, was ist jetzt genau. Zum Beispiel mal Game-Szenen aus Episode 3 zeigen. Aber die wollen ja nicht spoilern. Angeblich. Aber ich glaube, die sind einfach nicht fertig und es ist einfach nicht mal ansatzweise spielbar oder so. Ich weiß es nicht. Also irgendwie... was haltet ihr denn davon, von der Politik? Also von dem Spiel Politik meine ich. Nicht von der Politik in der Welt, sondern hier von diesem Spieldesigner. Und das geht heute wieder 43 Minuten wahrscheinlich und keine Aussage. Ja, das ist echt, das müsste man echt mal anpassen. Das geht so nicht, dass das so bleibt. Da wärst du zum Ork!
Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Game number 146. My name's Hamish and today I am joined by a couple of, well, one familiar face, one not so familiar face. It's not Matthias, it's John Buerling. Hey man, how you doing?
Slightly bigger Matthias. Yes,
Wow.
that's me.
There you go, Matthias 2.0.
Scandinavian face.
Yeah, we've upgraded from, you know, version
all you
1.
Swedes.
Yep.
There you go. It is pretty self-explanatory. It does say in the, you know, the contents of our show that you are the narrative director.
Yes.
That's a pretty accurate description of what you've done for Massive.
I was lead narrative designer for a long time, but recently transitioned into.
Habt ihr gesehen, was die für Untersetzer haben? Das sind Geldscheine.
Oh,
Hallo,
yeah,
Youngblood.
2007.
So, a
So I
little
Was
worked
für
on the
Snobs?
division from very beginning, like the first conception of the game and the IP. So
All right.
It's very close to my heart.
Very cool. Well, that's
Ich mach mal die Musik
bit of a
aus im
spoiler about what we're
Hintergrund.
talking about today. We're going to do a bit of a recap of what's happened in Division 1 and 2. Actually, I kind of got a little bit nostalgic getting some footage from the Division 1 today. I was like, oh, I miss these characters.
Yeah.
So we're going to show some of those things and talk about the main points of each of the games. We're going to just quickly do a segment called Priority Alerts. It's going to be real fast today because I want to get into the other stuff. Let's hit you with this week's Priority Alerts.
Priority Alerts.
I'm not joking, this is a really fast one. There was a maintenance yesterday, it was just a server restart, and there were no player-facing changes. That's literally it. Now you know. Usually, when there's updates coming,
Man tut es jetzt schön reden, dass wir gestern nur einen Neustart des Server gemacht haben. Ihr solltet mal Bugs fixen.
3 yet. People are making deductions. It's coming very soon.
Ich werde immer noch aus der Deckung gedrängt. Ich kann mich immer noch in der Deckung nicht nach links, nach rechts bewegen. Und sie sagten, sie haben nur den Server neu gestartet. Fix doch mal die scheiß Bugs!
Leave and there'll be no streams. I kind of want there to be more streams.
It would be an awkward rest of the show.
Super awkward. Yeah. Very, very soon we will be doing that. I just want to show the dev interview screen right now. Can we do that so we can get on with the show? Let's do it. Oh yes, thank you. Okay, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of what has happened in the Division 1 and 2. Why are we doing this? Because there's some narrative stuff coming to the people's current experience, right?
Yeah.
So we thought this would be a pretty good time to get you on, and we're, I guess, going to test your knowledge of what you've been working on.
Oh no.
It's pop quiz time.
Yeah. No red shirt guy, please.
Yeah, that's actually what we need.
Yeah.
So, the Division starts how?
It starts with a viral outbreak in New York City on Black Friday. And then, of course, like we can see in the real world, it spreads all over the world very easily.
Yeah.
Because people travel and exchange mucus
Erzählt
with
heute
each
über die
other.
Hintergrundstory,
So,
dass dann das Ganze auf die ganze Welt ausgebreitet hat, weil ja beim
within
Black
a week
Friday
it's
auch die Leute
global,
reisen
there
und
we
deswegen
see
sich auf der ganzen Welt das
first pieces
ausgebreitet
of the
hat.
dominoes just collapsing.
Yeah, I remember from the Patrick Clare trailer and that sort of thing from the first game, one of the things that was really
Ich glaube, heute
good
geht es nur um
was,
Hintergrundstory, da wird nichts
it wasn't
kommen.
necessarily the
Alter.
virus that caused all the damage, but all the systems that failed.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very, like, society is very sensitive to these things, of course, like just shipping
Wieso mache ich das überhaupt?
patterns and production lines and so on. So if a majority of the population starts to get sick, all of a sudden you see the ripple effect of things, like electricity, power, law enforcement, etc. So it's very scary. And that was sort of what we really grasped onto in the early days of it, like this just relatable fantasy of, holy crap, things can go bad really fast. What would I do?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things I remember from 2013. We talked about not post-apocalyptic, but mid-crisis, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So obviously there's a bunch of major players, and we'll talk about those from the Division 1 soon. But you as a player are a major player in the story. Who are you when you create a character in the Division 1?
So you're an agent of the Division. You signed up way before the outbreak actually happened, and you've been training and waiting for the possibility of an event like this happening. And that is when you get activated.
Die erzählen uns gerade, wie das alles begangen ist und...
Second wave and not
Nee,
the
du
first
hast nicht
wave.
richtig, was da kommt
What
auch
they did
heute,
was they
glaube ich,
activated
nicht.
a smaller wave of agents, really just to see how bad is this? Can we solve this with like minimum means? And then of course it turns out that no, you actually need to activate everyone. So you're activated a few weeks after the outbreak as part of the second wave and go to work immediately.
Erklärt halt gerade, wie das mit dem ersten Teil an losging, dass man ja in der zweiten Welle aktiviert wurde und es ist halt eine Krise gewesen, deswegen wurden alle aktiviert und die erste Welle, die halt aktiviert wurde, die hat halt nicht geschafft und deswegen wurde noch die zweite Welle aktiviert und das ist ja alles 4 Wochen nach dem Chaos, der ausgebrochen ist und der Charakter ist quasi da mitten reingeworfen worden. Also wir reden heute auch nur über Story, so wie es aussieht.
But we don't know until, I think it's actually that echo, right? Can you kind of you've played Police Academy, Drew. I'm going to test you now. All right.
A few times.
Fun. What can you tell me about that echo? Ooh, this is a quiz. I'm putting it on the spot. I like this.
About the echo.
Yeah, and
I know the echo that you're talking about.
Yeah, in Police Academy. Who's in it? And what
Aaron
happens?
Keener. Yeah.
Where does it take place in the police academy?
It takes place in the gym.
Ooh, he knows.
On the basketball court.
Yes, well done.
Yeah.
There's also a chair.
Yes.
There is a chair, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember. He executes someone? Right?
Yeah.
He does at the end of it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember the dialogue that takes place.
Yeah.
You would remember.
No,
No?
I don't remember. It's
But-
been a
Die
while.
reden
But
gerade
that's what
von
you
der
need to know, right?
Polizeistation
So,
aus dem
the
ersten
first one
Teil,
is
wo
the
der
main
eine
idea.
auf
But
dem
that's where you
Stuhl
get the first taste.
festgekettet ist und dann
that's
von
the first,
China
like-
erschossen wird.
WTF moment. Like,
Yeah.
why is this guy that we've never
Yeah.
really heard about taking out people who we thought should have been?
Also sie reden
part of
darüber,
the
dass
same
man jetzt
team?
quasi...
That's
Very
Ich glaube, es geht daran hinaus zu
and
erklären,
we
warum
don't
du jetzt wieder
really know.
zurück nach
Actually,
New York
there's
gehst.
a video that I
Um
kept
halt Kino
before,
zu jagen.
Again, got all nostalgic. That you get after completing that mission, which kind of goes a little bit into that.
But
Yeah.
before you complete the mission, right? Do you remember who the boss is?
No.
Chyba the spell.
I visually remember, like you go out the back. There's like across the street. There's another building that
Yeah.
Someone comes in on a helicopter.
Yep.
Who is that?
First wave agent.
That's true.
Boom. First wave agent you see comes down. You throw your skill. He hacks it.
That's
Goes
right.
right. You know, your seeker mind goes right back to you, and
I
that's
think-
the first exposure that you get to the first wave.
Is that the
agent.
first? No, it's not the first.
That's the
elite,
first.
But like the first
wave
agent.
agents that you actually see in the game is Police Academy.
You immediately kill them.
But it's a nameless first wave agent.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have like a code name, but
Someone
they,
says Scarecrow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It is Scarecrow.
But it's a yes.
Very cool. But all right. So that's kind of where like the first like dun 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 stuff happens, right? Like
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I
the
remember
video-
that boss fight very vividly.
Me
because There
too.
was a lot of work put on that moment because when we finally figured
Ja.
out where we wanted to insert that moment.
Mike, ich fühle mit
Alright,
dir.
well.
Mein Herz, das pocht, weißt du, so innerlich so und zerreißt sich gerade förmlich selbst ständig.
Get unlocked in your evidence tab straight after this happens. It's really cool. Pay attention. We'll talk about it.
Also in der Polizeistation habt ihr zum ersten Mal die First Wave Agents gesehen und die haben euch
Down in the dark zone at the end there. I know. We had it.
Wir reden jetzt quasi über die First Wave Agents und ja, das kennen wir ja alle.
Behind. Yeah, we're not supposed to do that. Hang on a second. But we don't leave people behind. We're here to make sure this city doesn't get left behind. But the people we're working with, they're just fine with leaving all of us behind if it's convenient. Look, I don't agree with every decision that's been made, but I am saying it's time to leave them behind.
Man sieht ja auch an der Uhr, das sind Division-Agenten, aber Abtrünnige.
Before it kills us. You're talking treason. I'm talking common sense. Look around. There's nothing left to save. The JTF is trying to save a Manhattan that doesn't exist anymore. It is all about power now. Power and survival. They are done, but I am not. And you won't be either. Not if you work with me.
Okay. So we know now that this is Kina talking to someone, a nameless first wave agent.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually say it in there that it is Kina, right? We kind of assume it because of what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can tell us about that video that you think sticks out?
I mean, we hint back at the event that caused him to actually go rogue, of course, with the first wave being abandoned in the dark zone. I mean, they were in a pretty tough situation, outnumbered and no support, and that had an unfortunate effect on a lot of the first wave agents, where they either had to pull out or just died out of overwhelming odds.
Yeah.
So some people got a little bitter. I think Keener probably is the most bitter person from that.
Sure, it does seem a little bit salty.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the Dark Zone a little bit, because it's not just a PvP arena. Like narratively, there's a bunch of obviously visual storytelling in there about what happened. There are things that stick out to me, like certain landmarks, like the fire trucks that like the frozen fire trucks are down in lower Dark Zone, like that. Those things are awesome. But what actually happened in the dark zone, or the decontaminated zone?
I mean, so when the pandemic first started to happen and they started to realize the full scope of things, the immediate response was to try to contain it. And these sort of decontamination zones were that attempt, trying to, block by block, try to put in people who were ill. Because, I mean, Manhattan only has so many sick beds and hospital spots. And once those get overcrowded, you kind of need to look for alternative solutions. And their solutions were just to build walls around these areas. And that is kind of...
Also sie erklären gerade, wie die Dark Zone eigentlich entstanden ist, dass man quasi versucht hatte, also diese Epidemie quasi einzudämmen, indem man Wälle gebaut hat, Mauern gebaut hat, und dann hat sich dadurch ein Gebiet quasi entstanden, wo halt niemand mehr reinkam oder rauskam und dementsprechend alles abgeriegelt wurde und das eine Zone ist, wo es kein Recht und Ordnung mehr gibt. So mehr oder weniger ist eine Dark Zone. Um das kurz abzurunden.
Place to go to.
Yeah, there's one of my favorite echoes from the whole of Division 1 is the 5th echo from April Callagher. I actually had a look back at it today. I didn't capture it for people, but you can go check it out between East 47th and Madison. And it's that interaction between Keener and April Callagher. We talked about it before. What from that do you remember?
I mean, for me, it's that interesting meeting between someone that you know is a villain and someone who doesn't know that. Like, because everyone else just sees a division agent. They don't know the motivations or actions that they could possibly take. And the fact that Keener actually doesn't do anything, he kind of sees a person here who has risen to the occasion, someone who's under these extreme circumstances really capable of taking care of herself. So he's kind of intrigued by the fact that she's, carrying this gear and seems to be on her way taking care of herself. That is, it's like a sense of mutual respect there.
I'd love to see more from April. I just think she's a badass.
Also, sie reden gerade über die Echos, wo Keener sich quasi so ein bisschen erklärt, was er gemacht hat oder so hintergrundmäßig, dass er halt ein Arschloch ist. So, mehr darf ich dazu nicht sagen. Da wäre ich ausfallend.
As a person?
I mean, there's not much said about him in the game, of course, but he's a Russian citizen. He's a virologist who, like many other expats in Manhattan, basically went to the Russian consulate and got board and room there to sort of either hopefully get extracted out of the United States or at least be taken care of until the situation got resolved. But of course, we know that the situation didn't get resolved and it just got worse. And eventually, he's a person of interest because he has capabilities to develop vaccines or maybe do something else. And that is why Keener and Last Man Battalion were going after him. So both the division and Last Man Battalion were very interested in grabbing him. But of course, they beat you to it.
But him and Amherst knew each other, right?
Yeah. It's like the scientific community. They probably gone to conferences and talked about, I don't know,
so they didn't,
cell structures.
They weren't actually necessarily colleagues working in the same place.
I think
more
we do hint at them having done some kind of project in the past, but Chernikov is not involved in the whole green poison development at all.
I think that's the thing
all Amherst.
We can kind of overlook sometimes. Chernikov has no dubious kind of situations, right? He's
just the wrong guy at the wrong place.
Yeah, exactly. All right, pop quiz, Drew. That mission, the Russian consulate. What's the name of the last boss?
The name of the last boss?
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, we can give Chad a little bit of a go.
This one was tough too.
I'll give you a clue because there was not fun for us, a bug that the community really enjoyed during the Division 1 where you could actually get more than 4 people in a mission. And they were smashing Hornet all day
of course.
with more than 4 people.
Yes.
If you remember at the time, people had
That's a blast from the past.
16 people in there just going for Hornet. There you go.
But I remember you had that, was it the fountain or something, right?
Yeah.
That round cover, right? And you could move around that round cover and pop up and kind of exploit the last known position system of the AI.
I can say it now, but all of you exploiting that Hornet thing was not a fun time to me. Like, you all are evil. Same thing about Bullet King. Did not enjoy that time. It was funny. Okay, no. Not funny. Be cool.
But the memes that came afterwards
Now it's funny.
with Bullet King were priceless.
Yeah, it is funny now. Sure. Okay. What do we have to do next? So, Nico, you mentioned Amherst. We were chatting about this before. Do you remember the first? Now I'm quizzing. I know that John knows.
Why do I keep getting quizzed?
The first mention of Amherst in the game.
Yeah, the first mention of Amherst.
It's done by one of my other favorite characters in a voiceover. For
I would assume
mission.
Kendall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the mission where she talks about it?
Yeah, probably Abel's, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this guy
Yeah,
passing all the tests. I'm pretty sure. That was.
Also Hamish tut gerade über seine Favorite-Sachen im ersten Teil reden, was er so
That's
geil
the spicy
fand.
quote that I was trying to remember.
Boom.
There you go.
Everyone remembers that one. Yeah.
Scripted? No, this is not scripted.
sag
The
jetzt
script
nix.
would be way better if it was scripted. But no, so
We're
Kendall,
scripted.
Kendall talks about Amherst, right? And
Yeah.
nothing else really happens just yet. But you are at one point.
Also wir reden jetzt über Amherst, das ist ja der den Virus im ersten Teil, den Pockenvirus modifiziert hat und tödlich gemacht hat.
When the infected dollar bill is actually put to use.
That's right.
So yeah. But yes,
That's
then you
right.
go to his apartment.
So, what's the catalyst for being sent to his apartment? It's just.
It's that he's a person of interest.
Yeah.
He's like one of the most likely candidates to be behind this. So you're going on that whim, basically. You have to investigate.
Cool.
And yeah, it turns
Bosse
out
in
there's
Division
a lot
1
of,
waren hart.
interesting research in his apartment.
Welche
This is one
Bosse?
of actually my favorite missions from the first game, visually. I think it's
Yeah,
still one of the
visually it's super
coolest ones. Can we take a look at the video? George captured this earlier from the moment when you go into Amherst's apartment and kind of like, oh, this is some serious business going down in here. Let's take a look at the video for that. Yeah, we can kind of chat over this one because this is one of the coolest moments in Division 1 for me.
Yeah.
This is how you know he's a crazy genius.
Yeah.
He has a lot of books and blackboards with scribbles on them.
John, I'd like to hope that like these are scribbles that aren't going to teach people what to do to make a poison for reals, though.
Yeah, we may accidentally have done that.
Yeah, to be honest,
so-
our environment artists are so.
Das ist die Mission Amherst
crazy
Wohnung
with
hier.
the amount of detail and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
attention to detail that they have. Like,
That says Sigma. So, okay, you just got that. All right. No, it's such a cool environment. I can't remember what environment I was working on that. I know Matt O'Halloran worked on that for a while.
is that right?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't recall.
And any
It's
artist in
super
chat, if you
good.
want to throw down some names,
Yeah,
awesome
yeah.
work from the art team. Still one of, I think, the best looking environments in the game.
Yeah, I mean, our artists are fantastic, right?
Yes. Amherst, what else can you tell us about him? Because we've looked at his plays, we've heard him mentioned by Kendall. What else do we know about him?
I mean, you know that he's sort of been airing these kind of radical ideas about humanity versus nature and how we're basically not on a sustainable path where, we're sort of preying on the planet and eventually the planet is...
Amherst, also sie reden gerade darüber, wie die ganze Story und so entstanden ist, über Amhersts Wohnung, über die ganze Art, wie man halt den Bösewicht, der den Virus erfunden hat, den Terrorist, wie das quasi entstanden ist, was man da sehen konnte, dass die ganze Wohnung voller Tafeln mit irgendwelchen Formeln war und so
that's
weiter.
true.
Well, technically, no.
Technically, not.
Okay.
But you get the idea.
Even though they kind of rewrote his motivations.
Such a nerd, John.
Yeah.
All right, but there are some other major players in the Division 1. We're kind of taking our time with this because I mean it's.
Also sie
it's nice
erklären
to go back
quasi
to
sich
one.
selber mit ihrer eigenen Story, die sie sich
Rick
erfunden haben.
Velassi, fan favorite, my favorite.
One of my favorites.
What's he up
Yes.
to? Still podcasting.
Still fighting the good fight.
Pirate radio guy.
Getting
Right.
the truth and opinions out there.
Yes, but also players really enjoy like Benitez, Paul Rhodes.
Yeah. Rhodes is my favorite.
I think farts and good intentions is still my favorite quote from the first game.
Yeah.
Kendall we talked about, but Phalar was the only one of those people that you actually get to see in the Division 2, even if just for a brief second.
Yes.
She's the only one we get actual
Like that
confirmation.
last little bit at the end.
Yeah.
Where you get to see that you restoring the network actually helps people or agents across the entire country. So.
You did mention before, and we're not talking about Division 2 just yet, but I want to say Kendall is kind of alluded to in the Division 2 that she's still involved.
Yeah, I mean, so when you're actually, now we're a little ahead here, but when you're developing the broad spectrum antiviral, of course, Candle is actually involved in that. Like you're really taking all of the expert virologists and scientists that are active in the US, and they are across the country trying to collaborate and make sure that they can fight the virus and other diseases.
All right, so the assumption that she's still involved is pretty reasonable.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to just show the last thing that happens in the Division 1.
Könnte sein, dass wir in der Episode 3 auch bekannte Gesichter
This
wiedersehen.
is what you get sent to, which is actually after the whole Colonel Bliss situation happens, and it's like hey, there's one last thing to go check out.
Get some kind of signal.
Some people missed this. They were like, oh, I finished the final mission.
Yeah.
No, there's actually this one thing that you need to check out, which wraps up the story for Division 1. So let's take a look at that, and we'll be back in a second.
Here I am, Aaron Keener, the First Wave's prodigal son. Normally I'd do this face-to-face, but I'm not 100% sure which way you'll jump. You act one way when Ms. Lau is watching, and another way entirely when you're off the leash. That's an interesting contradiction. You see, I think that deep down, you get it. You know, the old rules, laws, governments, those things died on Black Friday. But the feral PMCs, the convicts, the ones smart enough and good enough to take what they need, they'll survive. Me? I'm gonna prosper. Oh, you could too, but you took an oath, right? You got a duty. Those are both ways of saying that your conscience is fucking you. You ask yourself, who has earned a right to tell you what to do? Do you know how many agents died to hold the dark zone just for the brass to give up and put a wall around it? You don't believe me? You should check the place out for yourself. But the people you're working for, they're irrelevant now. Amherst changed how the game is played, and I have got the vision to win. I got Chernenko, I got a DNA printer, and a very interesting recipe book. I'm gonna write my own rules. You should think about getting in on this thing. I'll be seeing you.
Den Arsch wollen wir zur Strecke bringen und der wird uns in Episode 3 auf jeden Fall begegnen. Ich glaube, wir kämpfen gegen ihn in Episode 3. Also ich möchte den auf jeden Fall in den Arsch treten.
Right, so you see Keener, he's got Amherst's laptop. There's also a dead body in there. People might have missed at the...
It's Amherst.
Yeah.
It's the man himself.
So Keener's got everything he needs. All the ingredients to do some stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, if you missed that during the game, I'm glad you got a chance to see it now, because that kicks us into the Division 2.
Yes.
How much time has passed between the Division 1 and Division 2?
So it's around 7 months,
Right.
which is
7 Monate sind zwischen
in the
Division 1 und Division 2
apocalypse,
vergangen.
that's a very long time. A lot of stuff can happen. But you start off in this smaller settlement somewhere on the coast, and you get the distress call to go to DC after the division network goes down. So all of your skills and equipment just stops working, and you got to go to DC to fix things.
All right. So through fixing things, what are some of the key points that the agent is tasked with doing? There's obviously the broad spectrum antiviral that we need to track down.
By the time you actually go into DC, that is really just a sort of loose rumor. It may exist, it may be in DC, but it's you don't know much more than that. So your main priority is deal with the factions and get the network back up.
All right. So for the people that haven't played or need a refresher on what happened in the Division 2, I'm going to be back to talk about it in just a second. We have a video which kind of recaps exactly what happened from a very top-level perspective. Just let's refresh. We'll come back and we're going to talk about some of the key points that you need to know. All right, let's take a look at this video right here. Yeah.
After the green poison outbreak, we worked tirelessly to stabilize the country. The division was on the brink of collapse. Agents were called to DC to try and stave off a civil war. Deadly factions roamed the streets and vied for control of the nation's capital. Hyenas.
Division 3 wird kommen. Deswegen versuchen sie ja gerade Division 2 zu retten, mein Lieber. Sie müssen erstmal Division 2 ordentlich hinkriegen, bevor sie Division 3 planen. Aktuell brauchen sie gar nicht damit anfangen.
And the true sons, mutineers and deserters guilty of war crimes. Alongside brave civilians, we fought to stabilize DC and took back the city. But we couldn't defeat the power of corruption. Military contractors known as Black Tusk invaded and tried to undo everything we had accomplished. We stood our ground, and with the odds stacked against us, we pushed them back. There are still dangers out there. It's up to us to remember what we are fighting for.
Okay, so we're caught up. Everyone's on the same page.
Den Trailer kenne ich noch gar nicht. Kanntet ihr
Might
den?
not have even played the Division 2. Spoilers.
Now you kind of have.
Yeah,
Just watching
exactly.
this.
I mean, that's very top level. So there's still some things that
Yeah.
are really not covered in that video.
Yeah.
So President Ellis is probably, I think, one of the key drivers for at least the campaign initially. As you play through the narrative, what's his standing?
Well, he's a bit of a douche.
But we don't know that yet.
No. Exactly. There's you just know that he was on Air Force One when it crashed or got shot down, and he was taken by someone somewhere, and you just happen to find out that he's held hostage by the hyenas.
And he was formerly Secretary of State, right?
Yes. They've gone through the line of succession quite rapidly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you retrieve the encryption key from
Oh, Speaker of the House. Sorry.
He's Speaker of the House. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Of
Yes.
course. Wow, that's what I meant to say.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, Reddit,
Chat
we're about to
giving
come
me
after you
a
pretty
civics
hard.
lesson. Oh man.
So the encryption key you get from the True Sons in Capitol Hill.
Yes.
Players restore the network. We've compressed Division 2 down a lot, by the way. You restore the network, you get to see that cutscene we talked about where you see Fei Lao. She's finally gotten back out there herself.
Yep.
Her knee seems to work now. Cool.
I not so
Finally
much.
healed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, unser Präsident
All
Wallace
that happens, everyone's, the
ist ja
network's
mit
back
der,
up and everyone's
mit der Air Force One abgestürzt.
fireworks,
Yeah.
kind of.
Und wurde ja von den
Black Tusk.
Hyenas gekidnappt und hat
Because are there any
von irgendjemanden
allusions to
quasi
Black Tusk before that point?
Yeah, I
If
mean,
people
nicht
pay
überreden
Yeah, you get the
lassen.
found
Ich weiß noch
footage.
nicht.
where you can see some movement through satellite views.
Okay.
And you see, like, I think the hooded, is it the sniper maybe that you see
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
closer?
And then, of course, you have all of the echoes with the Black Tusk specialist unit that is operating in DC. So they are sort of the vanguard to the Black Tusk invasion. They're Wyvern and all of the others.
Brenner.
But it's really only the people that pay close attention will know that the Black Tusk were the people that took down the Division network
Yeah,
in the first place.
exactly.
So, I mean, I know there are a lot of people who probably found that out, but there are probably a lot of people who didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I am sometimes one of those people that just, want to, play, skip a lot of things, but there's those narrative nuggets can be
Yeah.
missed.
And I mean, that was a deliberate thing. We wanted the narrative to be a lot about investigation so that you go on these very direct missions with clear goals and you achieve those goals. But, the real story, the real mystery is only uncovered if you actually go out and investigate. Like, for example, what happened to Mendez and that stuff.
So who are the Black Tusk?
Well, the Black Tusk are a private military group that has a lot of resources, a lot of manpower and firepower. Scale is unclear, of course, but they also, of course, seem to have some friends in high places.
Also Black Tusk ist eine
President Alice, who was
private
recruited to
Militärarmee,
basically be
die
their,
quasi
their way
fast unendliche
into
Ressourcen
legitimate
verfügen.
government. So who else knows? Like, who else is pulling these strings here? It's only alluded to, but there are some hints here and there.
All right. So in episode 1, tidal basin becomes a thing, and the antivirals are on your radar of things you need to track down. What else happens in tidal basin? There's
You
the
kill
whole
Wyvern.
Yes.
You stop the missile launch.
Yeah.
which is kind of important.
Yeah.
Or you don't stop the missile launch.
Yeah. And then the White House blows up.
Yeah, which you don't want. So if people actually fail that mission, they get some bad feels.
Yep. Yep.
That's kind of the
Oh,
key
dass man
narrative
überhaupt
point
überlegen
of
muss, was
episode one,
Title
is the
Wesseln
treatment of
ist.
antivirals.
Oh, and taking
yeah.
out Outcast leader.
Well, you have and,
Oh Mann.
the Black Tusk mission as well. That I can't remember what we Camp White Oak.
No, that's episode 2. Isn't it?
No.
No, that's
It's
episode 1. Pentagon
This is
episode
amateur
2.
hour right here.
All right.
This is
It's not my job.
great.
Right.
This is great.
Du musst
I
jetzt
was
echt
just gonna
überlegen,
let
was,
you
was
have the
Episode
whole
1
conversation
ist.
was episode 1 and be like, yeah, sure, that's fine. We'll pretend like that happened.
Alter.
All right. Okay. Back
Ey,
on
ich dachte,
track.
die haben
Thank
das
you for
Spiel
correcting
entwickelt
us.
und nicht ich. Soll ich vielleicht einen
so Camp White
Vortrag
Oak,
halten,
so
Hamish?
President Ellis.
Kann dir genau die ganze Story erklären.
Exactly.
What happens there?
Well, he gets away.
Hmm.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
Every time you play it, he
Yeah.
always gets away.
There's no way.
But he's really dumb. He keeps coming back.
Yeah. All right. And Emmeline Shaw.
Die spielen ihr eigenes Spiel
He
nicht.
doesn't get away.
Yeah. It is worth pointing out the echo at the end of that mission is
Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, that's also like, all of these people are humans, and we all have our own little personal stories and so on. And
Sprecht
really,
zur Hand.
Emmeline's story is about a victim becoming sort of a perpetrator herself, really taking that trauma and turning it into something maybe even worse. So
Yeah.
it's very tragic.
it's weird though.
In a
I
way.
feel like you must be chaotic evil because you make me feel good about someone who has done some bad things.
Yeah.
Do you get enjoyment out of doing that to people?
No, I like exploring spectrum of emotions,
Yeah.
and that includes that.
I mean, so I think to clarify for people, what is the echo that we're talking about with Emmeline? You finish the mission, and there's an interaction between her and who?
I actually don't remember.
You remember.
Well, her daughter.
I feel bad.
Yeah, her daughter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Yes.
No, of
Okay.
course. Of
Yeah.
course.
All right.
God,
So
I failed the pop quiz
Yep.
again.
Yep.
what happens there?
They're
there's some
they're
pretty
out,
cool
in,
words.
out in the zoo,
Yeah.
enjoying family time. So, yeah,
Which makes it all the more tragic.
yep,
Well, you're a dad. You're a dad? I don't actually know.
What?
Are you a dad?
Yes.
yes,
To like-
father of 3.
A litter of children.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, yes, yeah.
Your poor wife. A litter is not a nice way to explain it.
His kids are great though. So.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, I imagine those things would inform the way that...
Wieso mache ich das hier eigentlich?
Yeah,
Kann mir das mal einer erklären?
I absolutely think that
Alter, das ist
parenthood
dumm.
makes you really think about things in a different way, because all of a sudden your top priority is no longer yourself. It is absolutely your family. And I think that is something that we actually touched on quite a bit in the
Also sie erklären jetzt gerade so die
in the
einzelnen
first game with a lot of the
Charaktere in dem
audiologs,
Spiel. Ich weiß nicht, also
really
irgendwie
capturing those moments
kommen die von
when,
Stöckchen zum
people
Steinchen und erklären die Story,
realize
was
that
eigentlich im
this
Hintergrund alles
may
passiert ist, aber
actually
das
be the last time that I can reach out to
haben die Angst, dass die Leute das nicht kapiert haben bisher oder was? Ich glaube, die haben selber ihre eigene Story noch nicht
There's a
kapiert.
lot of that. I mean, it is kind of, it's touching to think about those things.
Yeah.
So everyone should call their parents.
Call
and
your
say
parents.
You love them.
That's one of my favorite series of audiologs is the Kinley College series of
Yeah.
audiologs.
Oh, yeah.
For that reason, it's really cool. You kind of see them change over
Yep.
the series.
Yep.
Do you remember the CG trailer that we released in 2014?
The first one that Blur did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, that one,
Hey René,
like, I get emotional every time I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But after having a kid, watching the small child in the bed move, you see the meds, and then you see it fade away, right?
Yeah.
And then you see the depression of the parent and you're
Yeah.
following them. It's
You're a
just,
mess when you see that now?
Absolutely. But I feel like that was Division 1, Division
Yeah.
2 is all about, like, recovery.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you, I think, something to relate to, like the stuff you're fighting for. It's to reunite people and sort of restore safety and security and that stuff.
All right. So, narratively, and the Division 2 has been structured as well to have some real narrative beats post-launch. Episode 2, Pentagon and DARPA Labs.
Yep.
What happens there, and why?
Well, I mean, it's a huge monolithic building full with interesting technology and secrets. And of course, Black Tusk want to get their hands on that, and you do too. And then you discover that, hey, there's a perfusion bioreactor in there that we can actually use to.
Wir sprechen über das Pentagon- und DARPA-Reaktor und was damit quasi gemeint ist.
Very, very important for you to get that.
All right.
Halt wichtig für die Herstellung von
That does kind of tie in neatly to where we're at now.
für ein Gegenmittel
Because
quasi.
We've shown a trailer for episode 3, and there are some things in there that people have noticed.
Yep.
Chernenko, that's why we think it's important to have gone through this. So you remember who Chernenko is.
Yes.
He's in there.
Yeah.
He's
in a box.
yeah.
What is he doing in the box?
Some people have control over him. That's the Black Tusk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, Chernenko
What
ist bestätigt, ist der
going on? What do we
Wissenschaftler in der
we need
Box.
to be careful.
Wie ich schon gesagt
and
habe.
it is important that we do this now because there's going to be some developments coming very soon where you get to experience what happens.
Yeah.
What else do we know from that trailer as it pertains to Chernenko and the Black Tusk?
Well, you absolutely know that Black Tusk should not have their hands on him because he's one of the most important minds alive in the country at that time. And you absolutely need to get him to help you with the antiviral project. So he's a very sought after person. And him being in Black Tusk's captivity is very bad news. So yes, you need to go there and get him.
So we also know from the trailer that the Black Tusk are not just in DC.
Also, wird bestätigt, in Episode 3 müssen wir
have gone
Chernenko
to
retten.
Coney Island. Hey, New York again.
Yeah. Going to the fair. Woo.
Can we assume that Black Tusk are a bigger organization than just those two things? Are they national, global? What do we know?
They're at least national. And I mean, yeah, when they're invading DC at the end of the Division 2, they've of course been moving throughout the country. So, and at the time we don't know exactly what is going on in like the Midwest and on the West Coast and so on. So that is still a mystery, but they've absolutely been operating in other areas. But DC, of course, is a very like high value location for them to secure.
Right. We also know,
and Coney Island is.
yes. So we also know from the trailer as well. People, I mean, you would have had to not seen it to not notice there's a lot of flames. The cleaners are back.
Yes.
You have a specialization where you actually get to play with the flamethrower, so
Fire
the firewall
versus
specialization.
Fire versus fire. Yeah.
Exactly. But let's, from a narrative standpoint, you've taken out Joe Ferro in the Division 1, the leader of the cleaners.
Yes.
That's
Rip.
a cool mission.
Rip,
That's a
Joe
Yeah.
Farrow.
Yeah.
So napalm.
Blow up everything.
Yeah.
Everything
Napalm.
explodes.
I can't remember the actual full name, but the napalm place.
Production plant.
Yeah.
Production
Um,
center.
Site. I think,
Site, yeah.
maybe.
I played that a lot of times. But you take out Joe Ferro.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened to the cleaners in that time? I assume they've
Jetzt reden sie über die Cleaners, was in der Zeit passiert ist, als Chauffeur besiegt wurde und was danach passiert ist.
have a new one or a new
So
structure.
7 Monate lang Cleaner, was ist
I
I
passiert?
mean, they also had to adapt, of course, to that defeat. They couldn't really hang out in Midtown too much, so they've moved somewhere else, found a new leader to sort of unite them again, and then keep up their spirits, keep burning people.
Yeah.
Wake up every day, burn people. So yeah,
Sounds like a life.
But there's like 8 months,
yeah, exactly.
right?
A
in
lot
between.
of time has passed.
So a lot of time has passed,
Yeah.
and they've had to adapt.
Yes, and found new recruits and rebuild.
Also sie haben einen neuen Boss, die Cleaners, sie haben neue
Players
Rekruten
will
gefunden
experience exactly
und
what happens
sie verbrennen immer noch Menschen.
We aren't going to, again, tell you what happens in the future, because that's half the fun of playing the game. Well, it's the whole fun of playing the game. But there's a lot of really cool things that you will experience very soon.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we've missed? I mean, obviously there's a lot, but anything
there's a
super
lot-
critical that you think we need
Yeah.
to say?
There's like some unresolved threats, right?
Yeah. That's true. Where are
Like
certain people?
yeah, exactly. Like there are some very key players that. What are they doing?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Well, we know Amherst did, so that's kind of...
Yeah, dead.
Yeah.
Joe Farrow, dead.
LeRae Barrett's
LeRae
dead.
Barrett.
Ray Barrett.
Dead.
Yeah.
Colonel Bliss is dead.
Bullet
Dead.
King.
Ah,
He's still around.
He never dies.
is he?
Never dies. Never dies.
But, and
Bullet
you
King ist noch
mentioned
nie
Bliss and
gestorben,
Barrett.
ja, ja. Das ist
Those
klar.
organizations, even though they aren't in that trailer, like from a narrative standpoint, we're not talking concept.
Übrigens, wer
yet.
Bullet King noch nicht konnte, das ist
What-
einer dieser
in your mind, at
Open-World-Bosse,
least, from a narrative
der am meisten
standpoint, is happening
abgeknallt
with those
wurde
organizations.
in Division 1.
I mean, I think like in the event where leadership is taken out, you either have to adapt or disband, basically. So in Riker's example, for example, I I think we even hint at it actually in the Division 2 collectibles. But LaRae Barrett was really sort of a unifier of very disparate groups. And her being gone means that they actually don't have that drive anymore. So they're much more like split up into smaller groups that dispersed all over the city probably.
Yeah.
But it's different with the LMB?
Yeah, I mean, the LMB is, again, like Black Tusk, they're a private military group, so they have a command structure in place. So if the most senior officer is taken out, there's, room for promotions, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. All right, I think that's pretty much all we can say on this topic.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're going to get into spoiler territory pretty soon.
Yes.
If you want a recap from someone who's far better at us, far better at this than any of us, NGN Gaming on YouTube has a really cool video about the Division story in 11 minutes that you should definitely go check out. Mods, if you have the opportunity to paste that in chat, I'm sure you will find a way because it's so good. Please make sure you share it and subscribe to NGN. It doesn't pay me, but he is a fellow New Zealander, I will say that. So
Okay, I see.
Ooh.
I see.
playing favorites a little bit. Cool. It's do you feel nostalgic about talking about these things?
A little bit.
Very.
Yeah. That's nice. Hopefully everyone's caught up now. Again, we do not have a release date for episode 3, but it is, I will say, without spoiling, very important that we talk about this now. So you are all caught up. Do with that what you will, but it's important that you know where you're at. Let's actually do some agent highlights right now.
Jetzt
I
geht's
have
um
a
Episode
couple that I
3.
want to check out. Can we take a look at this week's agent highlights? The first one, depending on the order, well, both of these people that we're going to look at today need no introduction, but our first one
Nee, sie reden doch nicht über
is
Episode
going to
3.
come from, I think, this is the cosplay that we have lined up. Yeah, Mab.
Hey, check it out.
Yeah.
Nice choice
so
of
we-
location.
So we have, did she actually, that's actually taken in Coney Island. What?
No, it's photoshopped in.
It's photoshopped? That, I mean, well, it's, I just see theme
It's
park in
super
the
good.
background, and I think it's real. Love it. Love the Isaac touch down the bottom there.
Yeah.
It's very, actually,
That's great.
Yeah.
we were
that's
talking
great.
about Isaac just before, because I was asking, who was the actual voice actor that we ended up having? And you're wearing a T-shirt under there that's oddly relevant,
Yes.
because it's
true.
Garrus from
Yeah.
Mass Effect,
From Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which, confession, I've never played. Sorry.
What?
I know. It's just
All
one of those, like,
This is
one of those dirty truths I sometimes need to admit to. I've never played Mass Effect. Sorry. I'm sure you must have a game like that yourself that you've never played that you feel bad about.
nothing.
You've played everything.
Everything.
Ich finde das Bild jetzt nicht sehr spannend.
Probably
Also,
hates me.
keine
You've
Ahnung.
literally played everything.
Am
Come on.
Strand.
Confession time.
So komisch.
Right. You can come back to me. Anyway, Mab,
Play a
awesome.
lot of games.
Awesome job, Mab. You continually pump out awesome cosplay, and I can't wait to see the next one. I hope it's a cleaner. Mr. Commendation, a continual beacon of brightness in our community. If you didn't know, Mr. Commendation, we're pretty sure he was the first Shepherd 99 rank. He
Wow.
consistently does awesome raid carries for people, notably a lot of the deaf community have followed along. He's taken them through the raid. Super cool.
That's super cool.
He's
Yeah.
obviously by name done pretty much every,
Yeah.
well, I assume every commendation that you could imagine. But just thanks for sharing your knowledge about all of these things, Mr.
That's cool.
Commendation. It's really, really cool.
Super appreciated.
Being a part of the community and helping people just understand every nook and cranny of our game is, it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you. And we love you for everything that you do. Very, very cool. Again, if you want to send in more agent highlights, hashtag agent highlights on Twitter. Actually, if you see other people out
Ja.
there who haven't
Hallo Bernd.
shared their things,
Was ist
share
spät?
them with us. You don't have to necessarily be the person that makes them. Sometimes people don't want to, feel like they're bragging, but that's not it. We just would like to share positive things. So please, agent highlights on Twitter if you see cool stuff or if you have cool stuff to share of your own. Thanks, guys, for joining today.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
What are we talking about next? Next week? And the week after that? Do we have a plan?
Not one we can talk about.
Oh, okay.
Dude, really putting me on the spot, really flipping the script. What does it mean? Have fun with that one. Wish I could tell you, but I don't keep a job. Next week will be fun. All right. We'll leave it there.
Yannick, I'm
Also
sure
ich überlege mir
Yannick
echt, ob ich
will
nächste Woche
return as well.
I would
nochmal
assume Yannick
hier
would
mich
be here next
hinsetze
week.
und
I saw
diesen
some
Quatsch
comments in
kommentiere.
Canada
Ne?
missing Yannick.
Weil im Prinzip,
Yeah.
Such is life. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. It's been fun catching you up on all of this.
also heute ging es nur um die
If
Story,
you
Hintergrundstory,
wanna
was
join
ja
us,
alles
I always
passiert
like to
ist,
hear
ja.
people's favorite moments on Twitter.
Keine
It's,
Infos über Episode 3, keine
time to
Infos, was
get
kommt
caught up on
danach,
those things
keine
because cool stuff is
Informationen
coming.
im
Anyway, we
Sinne,
will
sie
see
haben
you
einfach
again
nichts
next
mehr
week.
zu
Have an
sagen
awesome
und
week.
quatschen
Week,
nur
and everyone
dummes
will have some gameplay
Zeug.
streams on here as well, but we'll see you very,
Und sie wissen nicht mal, was sie nächste Woche überhaupt bereden
Alright,
wollen. Ich
bye.
meine,
Bye.
Bye.
ja, 43 Minuten nur Quatsch geredet. Naja, gut. Das soll es schon gewesen sein. Wir haben heute nichts Neues erfahren, außer das, was wir schon wissen. Das hätte ich euch alles auch erzählen können. Ja, Andreas, was will er machen? Der hat ja keine Infos. Und die zwei, die da saßen, das waren Art Director und das andere war der, wie hieß er, auch so ein Director, keine Ahnung, was das war. Die haben ja nichts zu labern. Die sind einfach mal, die haben irgendwie den Schuss nicht gehört, würde ich sagen. Eigentlich müssten sie labern wie ein Wasserfall, was so dieses Jahr angestanden oder ansteht. Und sich da mal drauf spezialisieren. Jedes Mal was Neues. Quasi mal sagen, was so gemacht werden soll. Nur Story haben sie gelabert. Nur Story. Also es ging hier ganze 43 Minuten nur um Hintergrundstory zwischen China und den Cleanern und den Black Tusk. Und was sind eigentlich die Fraktionen? Warum sind die da? Hätte ich auch sagen können. Ja. Ich bin gleich wieder da. Dann können wir noch mal kurz lieber labern. Einen kleinen Moment. Ein Rotz.
In there, most of it I remembered, but some of it I did not. Yo, what's up, everybody? How we doing? If you're coming over from the Division game stream, my name is Tony T. We are just getting ready to get back into the game. We are just watching the state of the game. How's everybody doing? Thank you very much for coming by.
Oh Gott.
Hope everybody's as excited.
Okay,
Looking
den müssen wir
forward.
mal ausschalten. So, alles klar. Das müssen wir uns jetzt nicht anhören. So, weg damit. Das ist ja abartig. Ja, was haben wir heute eigentlich gelernt? Wir haben gelernt, dass die einfach keine Ahnung haben. Wildlands kann ich nicht spielen, Andreas, denn ich habe immer noch nicht meine Festplattengröße bekommen. Das kriege ich erst am 19. Ja, das ist gut. Aber davon abgesehen, ich würde sagen, es ist halt leider so, wie es ist. Wir können es jetzt nicht ändern. Nächste Woche werde ich wahrscheinlich nicht streamen. Nächste Woche wird halt hoffentlich das Datum veröffentlicht, wann wir Episode 3 spielen können. Das wurde heute ja nicht getan. Ich verstehe nicht, warum man diese Chance einfach mal ausgesprochen lässt, dass man einfach nichts sagt. Also, es kommt im Februar. Eigentlich wissen sie schon wann, aber sagen es nicht. Ich verstehe das nicht. Ich verstehe es einfach nicht. Warum kann man nicht einfach sagen, wann es kommt? Wir wissen ja, dass es nächste Woche nicht kommt. Das kommt wahrscheinlich am 17. So, am 17.02. Das ist so meine Prognose. Dann hätten sie noch einen Monat Zeit für einen Geburtstag und Ja, mich nervt das ein bisschen, ja, also, dass du setzt dich halt hier hin, du supportest sie ja auch und machst ein Video darüber und du spielst es ja auch und eigentlich wollen sie ja, dass du weiterspielst, aber irgendwie haben sie kein Interesse daran, uns irgendwie mal eine Info kommen zu lassen. Was machen wir denn jetzt hier eigentlich? Ich meine, sie geben uns ja nicht mal einen Brotkrumen zu sagen, warum wir es jetzt noch spielen sollten. Warum sollen wir jetzt das Spiel spielen? Diese Brotkrumen gibt's nicht. Wahrscheinlich haben sie keine Idee. Und wenn sie keine Idee haben, dann haben sie natürlich auch keine Infos. Für mich persönlich ziemlich schwach. Ja. Also meine Meinung, ziemlich schwach. Na gut, aber wir haben herausgefunden, worum es in Division geht. Über ein Virus, der von einem Amherst ausgebrütet wurde und von einem Kino der ersten Welle genutzt wurde, um seine Macht und seine Geistesgestörtheit zu fördern. Um halt das Chaos quasi für sich zu nutzen, um sich selber zu bereichern, um die Welt neu aufzubauen und hat dann quasi dazu gemündet, dass Fraktionen sich gegen die Bevölkerung gewandt haben. Die haben wir als Division-Agenten der zweiten Welle natürlich bekämpft. Sie haben uns erklärt, wann wir den ersten Wellenagenten gesehen haben, nämlich bei der Polizeistation, ja, die wir da quasi übernommen haben, dass China den nicht abtrünnigen Agenten erschossen hat, weil er sich nicht überreden oder mitmachen wollte in dieser Chaos-Wahnsinn. Und alle, die gegen ihn waren, wurden auch abgeknallt, das wissen wir ja alle schon. Und er hat quasi den Tschernenko und auch den Virus-Reproduzierungsdrucker und kann somit neue Viren erstellen, herstellen, modifizieren und braucht dafür natürlich den Tschernenko, um das zu können, zu tun, zu wollen. Und jetzt mittlerweile gibt es jetzt auch die Black Task, die sich quasi als private Militärorganisation eingeschaltet hat und jetzt die Welt in Atem hält. Und die wollen natürlich auch den Tschernenko haben. Ja. Ich finde auch, wenn sie keine Infos haben, sollten sie einfach das State of the Game nicht machen. Und dann freuen die Leute sich auch nicht drauf und kriegen dann halt nichts hinterhergeworfen. Ich meine, die Story hätte ich ihnen auch erzählen können, dabei hätte ich keine Dreiviertelstunde brauchen. Da verbrauchst für diese bisschen Story, die es da gibt in dem Spiel, jetzt mal ganz ernsthaft unter uns. Dieser Hauptstrang ist sehr kurz. Die Informationen, die Nebenstorys sind sehr viele. Man hat verschiedene Storys, die halt sich um dieses Kosmos drehen. Die sind halt eine Menge Informationen. Aber die Hauptstory ist jetzt wirklich nicht so dermaßen gewaltig, dass man das nicht innerhalb von 10 Minuten hätte erklären können. Aber sie müssen ja 40 Minuten strecken, sonst hätte Hamish Bode ja keinen Job. So, das ist der Punkt. Naja, also ich danke euch fürs Reinschauen. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal wieder. Ich weiß noch nicht, ob ich heute streamen werde. Ich werde jetzt erstmal was essen und ich danke euch fürs Reinschauen. Wünsche euch auf jeden Fall auch guten Hunger, guten Appetit und vielleicht sieht man uns ja später wieder. Vielleicht supportet ihr uns, indem ihr einfach auf dem Video einen Kommentar da lässt, auf diesen Stream einen Daumen und ich würde mich, wie gesagt, sehr freuen. Ich kann leider nichts für die Informationsdünne, ich kann nur versuchen, mein Bestes rauszumachen. Und ich werde wahrscheinlich im Nachgang wieder Super Mario Luft eine Zusammenfassung des State of the Game hier veröffentlichen, weil er macht das eigentlich immer ganz super. Und kurz nachdem halt State of the Game rausgekommen ist, ist schon sein Video fast online. Von daher, ich werde mal in einer Stunde gucken, ob er es schon fertig hat. Ansonsten erst morgen. Aber ich danke euch. Ach, und noch eins, auf meinem YouTube-Kanal gibt es eine Abstimmung. Dann würde ich gerne wissen, ob ihr das Spiel noch spielt. Ja, Apollo, wir wissen ja, dass wir da, ich glaube, derselben Wellenlänge sind. Aber ich versuche halt positiv zu denken, ja? Also, haut rein, bis dann, tschüss.